Well, can anybody guess what this is? Yep, it's another one of those BSA power eggs, an A65 lump, and I've just put it on the bench now, and I'm told that it doesn't turn. Now the guy who owns it has already had the top end off, and that's over here in that box. But first of all, I want to concern myself with getting this apart and finding out whatever is causing it to be seized, and see if it can be rescued. So this is like a introduction, if you like, to this machine. We've even got for some reason we've got a brake light switch attached to it. Looks a bit of a mess, and there's a hole in the primary chain case there, but time to pitch in and try and get it to bits and see what can be done with it, if anything, to try and save it. So this is part one. Well, here's a first for me. I've got the pistons off the rods already, obviously, on this A65 engine, and it was absolutely stuck solid. There was no way I could move the crank at all by the con rods. I took the primary cover off and got ready to start stripping this lot out, and would you believe that the primary chain tension was done up so tightly, that adjuster screw was wound in so tightly that nothing could turn at all, because the primary chain was so tight. I don't know if the engine ever ran like that or what, but it's amazing if it did that nothing broke. I've loosened obviously the adjustment off now, so we've got a bit of play, and I can move the engine, I can rotate it backwards and forwards at least sort of part way each way before I feel some resistance. So obviously I'm going to have to strip it right down anyway, of course. There's no point in trying to force it to turn and possibly cause some damage that hasn't already been done. But I've never seen that before, where a primary chain tensioner has been putting so much pressure on a primary chain that the crank wouldn't turn at all. But I've seen it now, I've seen it today. Beggars belief. Well, I've got the timing cover and outer gearbox cover off now, and I just thought, I wasn't really planning to make this video, as there usually isn't too much to see at this point, but we got all this stuff. Looks remarkably like sawdust. I don't think it is. It's sort of must be some sort of dried out grease or something. It's strange stuff, and it stinks. It looks like sawdust, and it looks and feels a little bit like grated cheese as well, but I think it's some sort of oily or greasy compound that someone's had in there at some time that's dried out. I've heard of people stuffing gearboxes full of sawdust to quiet them down. I don't think that's what this is, but like I say, I've never seen anything like it before. So that's two never befores already with the primary chain tension and this. So certainly proving a little bit different and fairly interesting this far along the line at least. And I think I'm probably going to get close to why the engine won't make a full revolution soon, and probably might even find out and pull this idler gear out, and maybe that'll do it. Or if not, it's something to do with the engine still being connected to the gearbox. But we're well on our way to finding out whatever it might be. But that's amazing, that. Just amazing. Well, here we go. That's another BSA A65 engine, all in bits. And surprisingly, any tightness in it when I was trying to turn it over was actually to do with the gearbox and not the engine itself. And everything, the big ends and the drive side main bearing, which is a ball bearing in this one, and the timing side journal and bush at this stage all seem to be in very good condition. So the next thing I'll be doing with this lot, finished for the day, but the next thing I'll be doing is taking these con rods off, have a look at the big ends. Obviously I'll open up the sludge trap, have a look at everything and start taking a few measurements and more in-depth checks. But at the moment it's all looking very promising, and I think most of the trouble is actually going to be inside the gearbox for a change.